This week, Techopia Live is at Impact AI, where government, industry, and academia are joining together to discuss issues of artificial intelligence. On tap this year is a discussion of responsible AI. How can we develop machine learning applications in an ethical manner? We're going to dig into that with MindBridge Analytics CEO Eli Fathi this week on Techopia Live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Techopia Live. I'm your host, Craig Lord, the editor here at Techopia. As I mentioned off the top, we are at Impact AI this week, Ottawa's conference for artificial intelligence here at Algonquin College. You might actually hear the conference going on just behind the curtain over there, but this week we are pulling aside Eli Fathi, the CEO of MindBridge Analytics, the organizer of Impact AI, to talk about some of these issues. Joining Eli to his right is Shima Khan, the Vice President of Intellectual Property Strategy at our sponsor, Stratford Managers. Welcome, Shima, to the show.
Nice to be here, thank you.
Could you tell us a bit about what Stratford Managers offers?
Sure. We've been helping companies address business challenges since 2008. We have a dedicated team of professionals with vast business experience. We work collaboratively, cross practices to help organizations and leaders improve, transform, and grow their businesses.
And we're going to be coming back to you in just a few moments to talk about how IP affects the artificial intelligence field. But Eli, we're here at Impact AI. This is the second year, and this year the theme revolves around the humanity of artificial intelligence. It sounds like kind of a counterintuitive term, but what does that mean? How are we going about making our AI applications more human?
So we were looking at three E's: the equality, the empathy, the ethical. When you are building an AI system, you have to make sure that at the center of the AI system is the human. It's human-centric. It's all about the human, and make sure that the system is geared to help and basically to assist the human to make a decision. And when a decision is made, the human is comfortable with that. So what do we want to do? We want to make sure that the system is lawful. We're going to make sure that in any jurisdiction around the world, we maintain the legality of it. We want to make sure that the system is robust. In other words, we don't get hackers into the system that will change the algorithms and create issues. We want to make sure that the system is ethical, and we want to make sure that the system is not biased. As you know, there is bias built in data today, and if the algorithms are being used to train the system and they are going to have this bias injected into the algorithms, then we're going to force decisions that are not acceptable to the human. And this is why we want to make sure that when you're doing it, we want to ensure that who is judging the judges and make the system human-centric.
Mm-hmm. And one of the ways that we can ensure that it is human-centric is by looking at who is involved, who's actually developing these technologies. And there was an interesting initiative announced today at Impact AI, and I'll come back to you to explain that in just a few moments. But Shima, I'd love to get your insights. There are a lot of companies coming to Impact AI today to learn about all the aspects of AI development, and one of those is IP. How does the intellectual property field differ when it comes to artificial intelligence? What do we need to be thinking about?
Well, AI is an emerging field. It's in the category of software somewhat, but it's a different kind of software. And historically, software IP has had some legal challenges in different countries. Laws are not quite settled. So it's an area of uncertainty, but at least in the US, there is action being taken to make these legal frameworks more clear, because business hates uncertainty, as you know. So that's being developed in the States, and other countries are taking the lead, other jurisdictions.
And where are companies finding success in, establishing their IP when it comes to AI?
Right. So there are 5 broad areas of AI where there is success, if you like, or anticipation of success. If you come up with some kind of novel model network, the structure of the model of the network itself, that is something you can get a patent on. There's training the model. Maybe you've come up with a novel way of accelerating how fast the model gets trained. Another third area is data processing. You have raw data, but you have to normalize it, process it.
Turn it into something understandable.
Exactly. Yeah. There may be something there. And then when you actually have prepared the data, you have to map it to the input of the actual model. There may be something there as well. And then finally, the numbers that come out of your AI or your machine learning, that often has to be transformed or processed. Sometimes, not always, but there too, you can find ways of getting IP protection. And of course, a lot of cases, machine learning is used as a tool as part of a larger process. So that larger process in which machine learning is used can also be
So
protected.
it's a lot of times just the angle that you're approaching
Exactly.
it. What are you actually targeting for a patent, and what part of that AI plays a role? Maybe it's not the AI itself.
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much, Shima.
welcome.
Getting back to you, Ellie, really quickly, there was an initiative called Herose, and I'm pronouncing that, I believe, correctly. What does the Herose initiative actually involve?
So we have three key goals when we're talking about the Impact AI and why we are setting it up. One, we want to reinforce Canada's leading position in AI in the world. Secondly, we want to put Ottawa on the AI map. But thirdly, we believe that the current inequality that exists in terms of the number of people that, from a gender perspective, that are participating in STEM and AI are skewed. So if you look at the overall population of 50-50, when you look at the STEM people, in terms of the work environment, you have 30% women and 70% men. And then if you look at the AI and tech specifically, it drops to 11%. So as we know that the AI is going to polarize the jobs, and we're going to have more knowledge-based jobs and service-based jobs. And it's from a socioeconomic perspective, it is really important that we right this wrong. So one of the things that we want to do is to encourage more women to go into this field. And there are two ways of doing it. One is to go back to grade 2, 3, 4 and make sure that young girls and young boys are into the STEM, into the math, and stay in that and believe in the science, biology, and all of that side of it. And consistently continue that into high school and university. Because what we see, there is a big drop-off after, in their initial stages, when you ask young girls at 10 and 12, they like biology and math and chemistry, and then later on, they don't. So this is something that we have, every parent, educators, governments have to change. But that's a long process. It's a 12 to 14 years process, and we should do it, and all of us have to encourage that. But there is another shorter way to create leaders. And what we are seeing that young women that are graduating from university or in university right now, we can teach them confidence, we can teach them about the common things of leadership, and there are a lot of men and women in this that we have spoken to that want to participate, and Shima is one of them. They want to help young women to get the confidence, to build the confidence, and how can they become a Shima? And we can do that in much shorter period of time. So we have announced, in cooperation with Algonquin, Carleton, and Ottawa U, we're going to have 2 one-day sessions from 9 to 9, one in the fall, one in the winter, when we're going to bring 20 students, women students, and we're going to bring people like Shima and others and men that are going to teach them all about confidence and leadership. And what we're hoping to accomplish, if that will work well, which we will do our best to do, we're going to create a boot camp where we can create something with one of the universities and the colleges where that will become a normal activity. And then if that will work really well, hopefully other academic institutions, other cities around Canada will start to do the same thing. And then we're going to create women leaders. And this is really going to skew the numbers to the positive side while you're building the pipeline on the STEM side as well. So it's kind of getting it from two directions.
Yeah, getting that technical side, that
The leadership
side, and eventually going back to what you were talking about earlier. Eventually, when we're have these AI companies in Canada, hopefully leading the way, when we're developing that AI, it's now being developed by women too, and
And have
hopefully
women leaders. In
yeah,
that.
and removing that bias that can be in machine learning applications,
Absolutely.
depending on who's developing it or who's.
And it's been proven that when you have diversity, right now there is 15% bias if you don't have women. When you add women to a team, you're increasing the diversity. The bias decreases by about 15%. So the algorithms are much more balanced when you have women as part of the team that's developing the algorithms.
Excellent. Well, it's exciting to hear about this initiative. The whole conference continues to go all day today on Thursday. So I want to thank both of you very much for joining us, and everyone else who's here at Impact AI for getting a little bit of insight into what the future of AI might look like and what we need to do to get there. So Shima and Eli, thank you both very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Awesome. Now, before I let you go, I want to take a quick moment and thank some of our sponsors, without whom Techopia Live would not be possible. I want to start with Number Crunch, offering virtual CFO services for SaaS firms. There's TD Bank, offering specialized services for tech firms. There's Perley Robertson Hill & McDougall, a leader in business and tech law. There's the University of Ottawa Faculty of Engineering, creating the next generation of technical talent. There's KRP Properties, offering so much more than just space. And of course, we had Shima here today from Stratford Managers, offering many programs and services to help you scale up your tech venture. Now, Techopia Live is not just this great show. You can also catch us on obj.ca/Techopia with daily articles on Ottawa's tech scene. Follow us on social at Techopia OTT on Facebook and Twitter. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please leave us a like and a comment. We'd love to hear from you. And subscribe to see more of our weekly tech interviews. Apart from that, I just want to thank you very much for joining us for Techopia Live. We'll see you next week for the next episode. We'll see you then.